Guys, we got Neo here from LVG. Now, the first question here, the most important one, what does LVG stand for?
It is locked in versus gigged. So hopefully we are usually the ones locked in, but sometimes we're gigged, you know?
Yeah. I was just wondering what it was for. I was wondering if it was Lin Vision Gaming. You guys were trying to sneak
No,
under the
no, no.
radar, and you have, the
They
teams like,
stole that shit from us.
oh, you guys launching in a trademark dispute or something like that. Getting them to change their name.
Yeah, that's all happening behind the scenes. I keep that under wraps. We can't really release any information on that front yet, but
So what the hell happened? Because you guys got eliminated by Team Revengers, who I keep mistaking as Tokyo Revengers because there's a team in ESEA Advance called them. What happened? Like, I saw a few bans being around. Like, what? Tell me the goss.
well, the gossip is that they broke the rules. So
Okay.
we were playing and we were having a great old time. And then suddenly we didn't figure it out, but one of their players was playing a little bit better than usual. I won't name names, but if you've been around the OCE scene, you probably could put two and two together on who's jumping on whose PCs.
Yep.
And a bit of an account sharing later.
Yep.
They got banned mid scrim, and then we got given the win.
Okay, so like you guys got given the win, and they reset the bracket so you could play Talentless. Is that right?
Yeah, that's what happened. Yeah.
Yep. Now with Talentless, because they upset a few good teams as well. Like beat the fellas as well. Where do you think they're at the moment in particular? Like, what do you think their strongest players are?
I mean, they're pretty good, but I've heard that they might be a dead team. So it is what it is. We see where those players go.
Yep. Do you play the Glacier on that team? Like, the guy, the Glacier as his display picture?
Yeah. That guy was on the roster.
I was
there for sure.
I was bagging on him because I'm like, Espeon and Umbreon are superior evolutions, and he's got a fucking Glacier as his display picture.
Yeah, I can't really speak much on that front. I'm not much of a Pokemon guy, but I know.
Okay. Anyways,
we're a Yu-Gi-Oh team, so.
Yeah. There's a lack of Yu-Gi-Ohs. I believe one of them's your pictures is Jaina Proudmore. I think it is, but I'm not sure. I think it's Kyo.
That would be Kyo.
Yep.
That'd be Kyo. I got that dog on there.
Yep. I actually didn't pop up today, actually. You know that I missed Reckons' dog, okay? Because I got a picture of him now, so I don't get Reckons' dog anymore when he's on.
Nah, unlucky.
Yep. So with LVG, what are you guys looking to, like, what are you looking to achieve with LVG at the moment? Because you've basically got the DXA core plus Gum.
Yeah, so we're in a weird spot with the new ESL format. Like, we have basically guaranteed our slot for the first ECL Cup.
Yep.
But if we did that, our roster would be a little bit different. And we're not playing with our full roster currently either, so we're just trying to qualify through here. So when we do go to the ECL Cup, we will only be playing with one sub instead of two.
So how do you get?
And that will save us a lot of time.
So how do you get in this slot? Like, is it via VRS or?
We are stealing the slot from Kyo's last ESEA Open win. So we'll be playing with Core from that plus two others.
Okay.
But that's why we're trying to go through Open so that we won't have to play with two others. We will only have one sub, hopefully.
Yep. Okay, so you're trying to get ECL in particular. Do you like anything? Like, do you not like anything about that? So with the ECL sort of new format, like, what's your feelings about it? Like, what are good things about it? What are the bad things about it?
I couldn't tell you anything good. I haven't looked into it, but I think having it split up is probably a benefit. But right now, it seems to be quite cooked with the lack of VRS opportunities in Australia. Like, once we're through Cup 1 and Cup 2, like, what happens then? Like, I wouldn't have been able to play enough games to actually get VRS assigned to my core, and then I'm just cooked for the rest of the season, unless by chance that there is another VRS event, which fingers crossed there will be. But Australia is pretty dead scene at the moment, so what can you do?
Yeah, because I was thinking about it as well. Like, the cups sound great in theory, but there's no surrounding events to really get anyone's VRS points up.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard CCT want to do something. Have you heard anything in the grapevine? Like, any other TOs want to come in and just run something?
No. I'm just a player, bro. I don't get told nothing. I'm just here. I jump on the PC. I play some games. I practice if we're lucky, but I don't even have a full roster at the moment. I'm not worrying about what other tournaments are on at the moment.
So next up, you play KZG. Okay. Do you think you're retiring a state tomorrow?
We'd have to hope for Kyoshi's sake. We broke his curse. We beat KZG. I don't know for him, but that was a stateless KZG. So now we just have to prove it, do it again, put him in the bin one more time. But it's a little bit easier when you're not playing underneath the DXA roster. You've relieved yourself of half the curse.
Yeah.
Or at least the DXA banner.
Do you think KCG should just rename to Mind Freak just to completely complete the curse?
Yeah, I'm sure that there's something in that, but I don't know.
And now, what about you? So obviously, what happened with the previous team, because you had the team with Viridian in Art of War. Like, what happened there in particular? Like, there was Eddie said there was a few key differences that people wanted to. I probably got this wrong. I was going to say people wanted to prac and go full time, or where did the roster want to go?
Well, that's hard to say.
Yeah.
There was a period of little communication. I wasn't really aware of what was going on behind the scenes. All I heard was I was getting replaced by Freeman. I got replaced by Freeman when they went to ACO, and then they shit the bed. So they basically killed the team off that, which is fair play to them. But I won't really speak on anything else because
because
I can't be bothered. Like it's buried beef.
Yeah,
it wasn't even beef, but there's no point bringing it up. It just happened, which is fair. Replaced me for Freeman, but it's obviously didn't end up how they were hoping for, and what can you do?
Yeah, because I was wondering what happened there, because obviously I think it was yourself and Ove got replaced, and making some big roster moves basically.
Yeah, it was the short end of it. It was a stupid idea from whoever agreed to it, which is the rest of the team. So they're stupid for that, and the team died for it, which is fair enough.
Yep.
Deserved, I should say.
Also, you going to that LAN event coming up? I think about 2 weeks or so?
No.
Did you enter a team for it?
No plans to.
Okay.
I'm in Perth, though. That shit's expensive.
I know.
Can't fly out.
Yeah, the funny part is, you can get those cheap flights to fucking Bali for $500, but to get to Melbourne, it's $870.
We should run some Bali lands, bro. That would be sick.
It would be, actually. Have you gone to Bali? Have you seen the internet there or nah?
I haven't been recently. I can't say I've gamed in Bali, but I've been to Bali my fair share.
Okay. Also, Cray chimed in with the answer there in particular, because he said it was mainly for the major MIQ, but they get chalked. So essentially, the team was it was eventually going to die anyway.
Yeah, it's whatever.
So with all these free agents on the air, because you also got Mind Freak breaking apart as well, how do you feel like this entire scene is going to end up? Because there's a lot of players out there that could really make a team. Do you think what sort of calls are going to get revamped, or is there going to be a whole mumble jumble of players brought together? Because you have yeah.
I don't know. There will always be teams floating around with players. I think it's a good thing that some of these teams get broken up, not because they're bad or anything, but it's a good thing for the scene for players to actually branch out and play with other people within or not within their circle. So you get a little bit more exposure and experience, because I feel in Australia that a lot of people are keeping to themselves, and they kind of have the idea that everyone else is not that good, but if they actually give people a chance, give them a trial, they might find out a little bit different. Me and Kia have been going around, been trialing some players, and we've been impressed with a couple, but we're still in that phase of still trying to finalize our roster.
Yep.
So
talk about trialing players overall. Is there any players that have stood out to you, not just the ones you've trialed, but in other teams? Because, I was looking at Lilux, for example, and I've got a few young shooters, but anyone else?
Nah, we haven't really scrimmed anyone like too notable, I think, or it's not something that we've really been paying attention to. You know, like we've just been focusing on who's in the server on our team at the moment. But yeah, there's been a couple of players coming through the OPL scene. Shout out OPL.
Yep.
And we've seen some fresh faces and fresh talents that we've given a try and have been quite impressed by.
Like I say, for Paul Xiao Bao in particular, I had them versus Fury, and they'd never played Train before. And I'm like, oh, you know, oh no, they played the fellas on Train. And they're like, they tried the brace good old, we have never played Train before. And they actually really hadn't, okay? Like, they got absolutely smacked. But, yeah, so with OPL overall, like, what's different about OPL compared to the other keys?
Well, you don't have to pay to play, and they actually put up a prize pool. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with ANZC. It's just nothing's fucking happening with it. Oh, sorry, family-friendly broadcast, but
That's not family friendly. Mine's a M15. You're fine.
they don't do anything. Well, I mean, they don't do anything for the FPL side. Like, I don't know how many people have a subscription.
Yeah.
I'm sure historically has been quite a lot. I don't know what it currently is, but like none of that has gone into a prize pool for the players, and there's just no incentive to play. So with this OPL, there's not paid to play. You just rock up, get your invite, and then play for the prize, which is like at least some incentive, you know.
Yep. So
That's all it really needs, I guess.
So has there been any interesting games? Because there's been some really sick clips from it as well. Like, has there been any interesting teams or games, or have you guys be like, hey, let's try this guy instead, by playing from in a pug?
I mean, OPL is a little bit interesting because if you're top 75 in host, you can get an invite, which is pretty cool. Like, you kind of see a different side to these players. You know, a lot of people who come in from the pugs come into OPL, and it's a little bit of a daunting experience for them. But you know, it's a learning curve. It's at least a way to get started to the more competitive aspect of Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
For some of these players, especially, yeah.
So there was a big Twitter post from Pixel C. I don't know who he is on Twitter. And he was talking about the AU scene in particular, about, you know, the things that they need to do better and the things that's not going so great at the moment. What's the big thing you feel like players in Oceania need to like focus on as of the aspect of CS2?
No idea. I think a lot of these teams are trying to do too much. You know, we have a saying on our team, just do nothing, and it usually works for us. But I feel like there's levels to this, right? It's a little bit of a bell curve. It comes like your beginner teams, they don't really try and do anything because they don't know what to do. And then your like more intermediate teams, they're like putting all these like set strats, practice, theory, all this shit into the game. And then like when you get to like the real good teams, especially like in Australia, and I think it more comes down to not really doing anything fancy and actually just playing the game.
So just pretty much like, you know, don't look at Spirit's replays and try to be Spirit. It's like build your own stuff, essentially.
Yeah, pretty much. I think that would definitely help a lot of teams. But then again, that's also a really difficult thing to do because you actually have to put in the time to do that, which I know a lot of teams obviously don't that have that, because it's always easier just to go in a demo or to go to Nard out here and grab the first thing you see and bring that to practice, which is fine, but yeah, it will only get you so far.
Yeah, I was gonna say overall, because obviously Falcons, if you watch the game early in the morning, Falcons got knocked out by MIBR from a crazy 3v5, like, you know, retake. From a mental aspect of CS2, like, how do you recover from those rounds where you really should have won that round and you got absolutely, you know, stomped by someone in particular, and, you know, there was a lot of mistakes? Like, how do you like handle that as a player?
I don't know. I'm not the top end guy, but I think it really comes down to aura, you know, like if you are that guy, like you will win the game. And I think at the moment, like Falcons have forgotten that. Like they've forgotten that they got Nico Manesi, like all these really good players. And if you just like went out, played like yourself, you would dominate these teams a little bit better. But there's obviously a lot of other things going on with Falcons at the moment.
No. I was meaning from your perspective, like, you know, from a stuff like that happening to your team. how do you really recover from that? Like, what do you do in particular? You call a timeout, or just be like, yeah, he's not going to do that again, or what sort of stuff do you use to like go through that?
Usually I just say, yeah, GG, go next map, and then we reset in the middle. Like that happened tonight. Like
Yeah.
we have currently, I wouldn't say we're notorious for it because we haven't been playing together much, but we get to the point where it's like we troll quite a lot on the first half, and then we'll bring it back to OT and then eventually lose. But like after that, it's usually not that close. Like at the end of the day, I think our players have played a lot before. And they just got to actually be that guy, be the guy and win the game for me.
And also another part as well, because obviously FlyQuest suffers from this as well. Like, how do you like, let's just say you're getting flogged like 10-2 or somewhat. How do you guys like, talk as a team to like say, yeah, we're gonna win this 13-10 or whatever it is? Like, how do you like believe in that? Like, is it like logic, or is it just like fuck it? Like, if we're gonna lose, we go out trying kind of thing.
Yeah, I think it depends on the day, really, and like what your team is. Like every team responds to that differently. At the moment, it's currently on this roster especially, it's we just want at least someone to be like hype and be loud, and that changes. Like today, it was Gum. Like that guy was fired up, and it showed when he was playing. Like other days, it's Jimmy. Other days, it's Keo. Like it's fine. We have like the room. Everyone has that in them. And if you're bringing it in the server, you're generally bringing it out of the server as well, and you're bringing your teammates up with you as well. So
it's more like everyone joins in to hype each other up. Like, guys, this round's over. Okay, you go on full Alex and be like, guys, they've lost this. 11-1 down, they've lost.
Yeah, we usually hit the taco clip, like the comeback clip, but again, it never really. Yeah, as the clip entails, we never really win the OTs.
Yeah, OTs are sometimes really, really hard to win in the end. But so that's pretty much it for today. Good work on beating LVG, awesome. Not LVG, being talentless. And cheers. Good luck with that second chance. Maybe you could get a second cup spot out of that as well, because, well, you're going to be preparing for KZG first and then Fury afterwards. And good luck to yourself, Kiero, Gump, Lucas, and I gotta call him the best. I always keep saying he's Daryl, and I'm like, don't, Jimmy, that's right. Daryl's someone else. Oh, probably Maker. Probably getting them confused. Fucking hell, man. But anyways, good luck to those guys in particular. I hope you guys the best, okay? You guys are, really trying out here, and I really, really appreciate it. See you guys later.
Yeah, we're trying. See ya, bye.